Can the monarchy escape the weight of its past? Queen Camilla's fate is now sealed, marking a decision that could redefine the royal family. While King Charles pushes for modernization, the institution faces growing pressure to adapt. Is this a strategic move for stability, or does it expose deeper cracks? How will Camilla's legacy be shaped, and what does this mean for the monarchy's future? Let's find out the answer to these. The palace has witnessed countless scandals, controversies, and power struggles, but nothing compares to what is unfolding now. Queen Camilla's fate has been sealed, and this time, there is no turning back. The decision has sent shockwaves through the monarchy, leaving the public and the media in disbelief. For years, Camilla has been a figure of intense scrutiny. Her journey to the throne was anything but conventional, marred by controversy and public disapproval that never fully faded. Even after being officially recognized as Queen Consort following King Charles's ascension, doubts persisted about whether she truly belonged in the role. The monarchy had fought to reshape her public image, but the shadows of the past loomed large. Now, as the final decision is made, it raises the question, was this always inevitable? When Camilla first entered the royal sphere, she was seen as the woman who disrupted the fairy tale image of Prince Charles and Princess Diana. Their affair, which came to light in the 1990s, was one of the most explosive scandals in modern royal history. The public turned against Charles and Camilla, and for years she remained a deeply unpopular figure. Even after marrying Charles in 2005, the title of Princess of Wales was deliberately avoided, out of respect for Diana's enduring legacy. Instead, she became the Duchess of Cornwall, a title that kept her at a distance from the one that had belonged to Diana. It was only in 2022, shortly before Queen Elizabeth II's passing, that the late monarch publicly endorsed Camilla as Queen Consort. This was seen as a historic moment, a final gesture of acceptance. But was it enough? While the royal institution moved forward with the transition, public opinion remained divided. To this day, there are those who believe that Camilla should never have held the title of queen. The monarchy has always been an institution rooted in tradition, where titles and roles are not just symbolic, but deeply embedded in history. The role of Queen Consort is meant to be a position of support, standing beside the king, but it carries weight far beyond its ceremonial duties. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, held the role with quiet dignity during the reign of King George VI, while Prince Philip, though never titled king, shaped the modern monarchy as Queen Elizabeth II's closest advisor. Camilla, however, entered the position under entirely different circumstances. Unlike consorts of the past, her reputation was not built on decades of service, but on a history of controversy that never fully disappeared. The issue of public perception has always been central to Camilla's position in the royal family. Unlike Queen Elizabeth II, who was revered for her unwavering sense of duty, Camilla has struggled with an image problem that dates back to her early relationship with Charles. It was no secret that she had been a part of Charles's life long before his marriage to Diana. But when the truth about their affair became public, the backlash was relentless. Diana's candid interviews, particularly her famous statement, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded," only cemented the public's view of Camilla as the woman who had caused Diana's suffering. Over the years, the royal family made efforts to rehabilitate Camilla's image. Her work in charity, particularly in causes related to domestic violence awareness, literacy, and osteoporosis research, was highlighted as part of an attempt to shift public perception. By the time Charles ascended the throne in 2022, Camilla had taken on more public engagements and was gradually accepted into the fold. However, even with the Queen Consort title, she never commanded the same level of public admiration as other royals. Princess Diana remained an untouchable figure in the eyes of many, and Camilla's presence could never erase that history. King Charles had long advocated for a modernized monarchy, one that moved away from excessive formalities and unnecessary grandeur. His vision, however, has met resistance. The British public has changed, and so has its relationship with the monarchy. In recent years, support for the institution has fluctuated, with younger generations showing less interest in the traditional structures of the royal family. The question of relevance has become a significant concern. In this shifting landscape, Camilla's position was always going to be scrutinized, and perhaps it was only a matter of time before changes were made. The monarchy has survived centuries of upheaval by adapting, but some transitions have been more controversial than others. Abdications, forced exiles, and title removals have all played a part in the institution's long history. When King Edward VIII abdicated in 1936 to marry Wallis Simpson, a twice-divorced American socialite, the decision shook the foundations of the monarchy. It was an example of how personal choices could conflict with royal duty. Though Camilla's situation is not the same, it echoes a familiar pattern. When controversy lingers, the institution ultimately takes precedence. Recent developments have only added more pressure to Camilla's position. The dynamics within the royal family have shifted, and not all members see eye to eye on the future of the monarchy. Prince William, as the direct heir to the throne, has become an increasingly prominent figure, alongside Princess Catherine. Their image as a modern and relatable royal couple stands in stark contrast to the complicated history of Charles and Camilla. The younger generation of royals represents the future, and public support has naturally gravitated toward them. In light of these changes, many have questioned whether Camilla's role remains essential in the evolving monarchy. If King Charles seeks to streamline the institution, does maintaining Camilla's title serve that purpose? Or does it present an ongoing challenge in managing public relations? The decision to finalize Camilla's fate suggests that the royal family has chosen to prioritize the monarchy's stability over personal considerations. The media has been relentless in covering this moment, speculating on what it means for the broader royal structure. Will this set a precedent for future royal marriages? Will it redefine what it means to be a queen consort? These are questions that will shape the conversation moving forward. For now, the reality is clear. Camilla's position has changed, and the monarchy is once again adapting to the circumstances. As the world watches, the implications of this moment are still unfolding. What happens next for Camilla? Will she retreat from public life, taking on a quieter role, or will she continue to serve in a different capacity? How will King Charles navigate this transition without further controversy? And most importantly, what does this mean for the monarchy's future? The answers to these questions will not come immediately, but one thing is certain: this is a defining moment in royal history. The weight of the past, the challenges of the present, and the uncertainties of the future have all converged, bringing the monarchy to yet another crossroads. Camilla's story, once intertwined with scandal and redemption, has reached a turning point. What follows will determine not just her legacy, but the very course of the British royal family. The weight of history has always been a defining force for the British monarchy, shaping its traditions, its roles, and the individuals who step into them. For Camilla, the journey has been anything but ordinary. Though she was officially recognized as Queen Consort, the echoes of the past have never truly faded. Now, with the final decision on her status, the question arises: was this moment always written in history, or could the outcome have been different? Public sentiment toward Camilla has always been complex, and much of that is due to the lingering presence of Princess Diana in the national consciousness. Even decades after her passing, Diana's influence remains powerful, shaping the way people view the monarchy and those who step into roles she once occupied. The comparison between Diana and Camilla has been persistent, a contrast that has never worked in Camilla's favor. Diana was adored, celebrated as the people's princess, while Camilla, for many, represented a different chapter, one that was more difficult to embrace. The early years of Camilla's relationship with Charles were marked by controversy, but the backlash was not solely about personal relationships, it was about the institution itself. The monarchy, built on duty, tradition, and expectations of loyalty, found itself at the center of a public reckoning. The revelations of Charles's extramarital affair during his marriage to Diana did not just damage his own reputation, but also cast a shadow over the future of the royal family. For many, it was a betrayal that went beyond personal matters. Diana was seen as the victim, the wronged princess, and that image never faded. Even after Diana's passing in 1997, the wounds did not heal quickly. The Queen remained cautious in publicly acknowledging Camilla's role in Charles's life. and the process of introducing her to the public was slow and calculated. In the years that followed, Camilla focused on philanthropy and remained largely in the background, avoiding any actions that could spark further controversy. It was a deliberate strategy, one that aimed to slowly reshape her public image. Yet despite these efforts, resistance remained. The official decision to grant Camilla the title of Queen Consort was meant to mark a turning point, an acknowledgement of her place beside Charles as he ascended the throne. However, many saw it as a forced acceptance rather than a natural evolution. The monarchy had spent years carefully shifting public perception, but could time alone erase deeply rooted sentiments? Even as Camilla fulfilled her duties, appearing alongside Charles at engagements, representing the monarchy abroad, and taking on more responsibilities, the question remained, was she truly embraced by the people? Unlike other royal consorts, Camilla's legacy has always been defined by her past rather than her present actions. The Duchess of Edinburgh, formerly known as Sophie, has enjoyed a steady rise in public favor, seen as a hard-working and dedicated member of the royal family. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has stepped into her role with grace, embodying the modern royal ideal. But for Camilla, acceptance has always been conditional. King Charles, as the head of the monarchy, has long been an advocate for modernization. His vision for a streamlined, more efficient royal family has been evident in his approach to governance. He has championed environmental causes, focused on reducing unnecessary royal expenditures, and emphasized the need for a monarchy that reflects the realities of the 21st century. But does Camilla fit into that vision? As the monarchy adapts, does her role remain essential, or does it symbolize an era that Charles is trying to move away from? The British monarchy has always been about survival. It has withstood wars, abdications, and political crises, adapting each time to maintain its relevance. The institution has faced moments of reckoning before, moments when it had to confront change or risk losing public support. When Edward VIII abdicated in 1936 to marry Wallis Simpson, it sent shockwaves through Britain, challenging the very idea of what a monarch should be. In more recent years, Prince Andrew's withdrawal from public duties following legal controversies highlighted the consequences of public scrutiny. Each of these events forced the monarchy to reevaluate its priorities, to ensure that it could continue without being weighed down by scandal. Camilla's position, while not as extreme as an abdication or a legal scandal, has nonetheless remained a subject of debate. Her role as Queen Consort was a matter of royal decree, but was it a position the public ever truly accepted? That question has shaped much of her time in the royal family, influencing the monarchy's approach to public engagement, media strategy, and the overall narrative surrounding the royal household. The idea of legacy is crucial in the royal family. Queen Elizabeth II left behind a reign defined by stability, duty, and a deep connection to the people. Diana's legacy remains one of compassion, relatability, and a modernized approach to royal life. What will Camilla's legacy be? Will she be remembered as a queen consort who quietly fulfilled her role? Or will she be seen as a figure who never fully stepped out of the past? The answer to that question may lie in the decisions being made now. The monarchy has always been strategic, carefully planning each move to ensure its longevity. If adjustments to Camilla's title or role are part of a larger shift, it would not be without precedent. The royal institution has shown time and time again that personal considerations often take a back seat to the survival of the crown. Public reaction has been mixed, with some seeing the recent developments as a natural progression and others viewing them as an unnecessary controversy. Supporters argue that Camilla has proven herself in the role, that she has dedicated years to service and has earned her place. Critics, however, see this as an opportunity for the monarchy to correct what they view as an error, a chance to redefine the institution in a way that aligns more with public sentiment. For King Charles, this is not just a personal matter, it is a defining moment for his reign. Every monarch faces a challenge that tests their leadership, a moment that determines the direction of their rule. For Queen Elizabeth II, it was navigating Britain's post-war transformation and maintaining the relevance of the monarchy in an increasingly modern world. For Charles, the question of the monarchy's place in contemporary society is at the forefront. How does he balance tradition with the expectations of the present? Camilla's fate is only part of a much larger conversation about the future of the monarchy. With shifting public attitudes, discussions about the role of the royal family have become more prevalent. Some argue for a more scaled-down monarchy, focusing only on the direct line of succession. Others believe the institution needs to become more transparent, more aligned with the needs of the people. As this chapter unfolds, there is still much to be determined. What is certain is that history will judge this moment as a turning point, a time when decisions had to be made about what the monarchy represents and where it is headed. Camilla, whether as Queen Consort or in another role, remains a central figure in this transformation. As the royal family navigates these changes, the world watches closely. The next steps will not just define Camilla's future, but will also shape the legacy of King Charles's reign. Will this be remembered as a moment of necessary evolution, or will it be seen as a misstep in the ever-delicate balance between monarchy and public opinion? The answers are not yet clear, but one thing is certain: the monarchy is once again at a crossroads, and the path it chooses will shape the years to come. The weight of the monarchy does not rest on a single person, but on the institution itself, an entity that has evolved for centuries, adapting to political shifts, social change, and public scrutiny. Camilla's role in this grand structure was always going to be complicated. Unlike those born into royalty, she entered through an unconventional path, one that had already been marked by scandal before she ever took on a formal title. Now, with the decisions being made about her future, the monarchy once again finds itself balancing between tradition and public expectation. King Charles has long been aware of the challenges he faces as sovereign. His ascension to the throne was met with both anticipation and skepticism. For years he had been preparing for this role, yet the shadow of Queen Elizabeth II's reign loomed large. She had been a symbol of stability, reigning through wars, political upheavals, and dramatic shifts in public perception. Charles, by contrast, entered his reign at a time when the monarchy was increasingly questioned. The challenge before him was not just to maintain the institution, but to modernize it without losing the core values that had sustained it for so long. Camilla was a key part of his vision, but her presence came with its own complexities. Public acceptance had always been a hurdle, and while time had softened some of the criticism, it had not erased it entirely. Unlike Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, who had been revered in her role beside King George VI, Camilla's place as Queen Consort never held the same universal approval. The idea of legacy played an undeniable role in this. Diana's impact on the monarchy had been profound, and in the eyes of many, no amount of time or service could separate Camilla from the history of the past. Yet within the royal institution, the focus has always been on continuity. Regardless of public sentiment, Camilla had been positioned as an integral part of the monarchy. Her role, once a subject of great controversy, had been legitimized through years of public service and quiet resilience. She had stood beside Charles, undertaken royal duties, and committed herself to charitable causes. Yet questions remained. Could the monarchy truly move forward without fully addressing the past? Was Camilla's role strengthening the institution, or was it a lingering reminder of a controversy the monarchy wanted to leave behind? The complexity of Camilla's position is deeply intertwined with King Charles's own journey. For decades, he had worked to reshape his public image, moving beyond the scandals of his earlier years. His dedication to environmental causes, his advocacy for architectural preservation, and his engagement with communities across Britain and the Commonwealth were all efforts to define himself as a modern monarch. His marriage to Camilla had been framed as a personal triumph, a testament to enduring love overcoming public disapproval. However, the weight of history was never truly lifted, and as Charles assumed the throne, the question of whether the monarchy could afford to carry this baggage remained. As discussions over the monarchy's future intensified, the role of Camilla became a focal point. The idea of a streamlined monarchy had long been on Charles's agenda. He envisioned a royal family that was more efficient, less burdened by outdated traditions, and more in tune with contemporary Britain. His efforts to reduce the number of working royals had been evident in the years leading up to his reign. Prince Andrew's public withdrawal from royal duties had already set a precedent for change, while Prince Harry and Meghan's decision to step away from royal life had further reshaped the family's structure. With these changes unfolding, Camilla's place in the monarchy was inevitably drawn into the discussion. If the goal was modernization, did her role align with that vision? Unlike William and Catherine, who had embraced their roles as the future face of the monarchy, Camilla's presence was still viewed by some as a remnant of an older narrative. The decision regarding her future was not just about one individual, it was about the monarchy's broader strategy to secure its relevance in a world that was increasingly questioning the necessity of royal institutions. Public opinion played a crucial role in this debate. While official decisions within the monarchy are made behind closed doors, the influence of the people cannot be ignored. The British monarchy, unlike its historical predecessors, exists within a constitutional framework, where public support is fundamental to its survival. The royal family depends on public goodwill, and shifts in perception can have lasting consequences. In an age where social media amplifies every controversy, maintaining the monarchy's image has become more complex than ever. The generational divide in attitudes toward the monarchy has also been a factor. Older generations who grew up during Queen Elizabeth II's reign tend to view the institution as a symbol of continuity and national identity. Younger generations, however, are more likely to question the monarchy's relevance, seeing it as an outdated system in a rapidly changing world. For these younger audiences, figures like William and Catherine represent the future, while Camilla's role is often viewed through the lens of past controversies rather than present contributions. These shifting perspectives have influenced how the monarchy navigates its internal decisions. If the goal is to maintain the institution's relevance for future generations, then every move must be carefully considered. The decision regarding Camilla's position is not just about her, it is about the monarchy's long-term survival. If adjustments are being made, they are likely part of a broader strategy to redefine the royal family's image, ensuring that it aligns with contemporary expectations. The media has played a significant role in shaping the conversation around Camilla. From the early days of her relationship with Charles to her eventual acceptance as Queen Consort, the press has scrutinized every aspect of her journey. The narrative has shifted over time, but the underlying tension has never fully disappeared. Headlines speculating about her role, public opinion polls measuring support for the monarchy, and debates over tradition versus modernization have all contributed to the larger discussion. King Charles's reign is still in its early stages, and every decision made during this period sets the tone for the future. The handling of Camilla's role is a test of leadership, a challenge that requires balancing personal relationships with the broader needs of the monarchy. The choices made now will not only shape how Charles's reign is remembered, but will also influence the direction of the institution for years to come. As the royal family navigates this transition, the implications reach far beyond Camilla herself. The next in line, Prince William, is watching closely, as the decisions made today will eventually set the stage for his own reign. The public, too, is observing, questioning what these changes mean for the monarchy's role in modern Britain. Will this moment be seen as a necessary step toward a more adaptable institution, or will it be viewed as a reflection of deeper instability? What remains clear is that the monarchy is at a pivotal point. The world is changing, and the institution must decide how it will evolve in response. Camilla's fate, once a topic of endless debate, is now part of a much larger conversation. How the monarchy handles this chapter will determine not just the legacy of one individual, but the future of the entire royal institution. As these discussions continue, the focus now turns to what comes next. Will the monarchy emerge stronger from this period of transition? Or will this moment expose deeper fractures that cannot be easily repaired? The answers are still unfolding, and the decisions made in the coming months will shape the course of history. What is certain is that the monarchy, as it always has, must find a way to adapt if it is to continue forward. The path ahead is uncertain, but the weight of tradition, duty, and expectation will guide its next steps. The monarchy's strength lies in its ability to adapt without appearing to yield. Camilla's position within this evolving structure has always been complex, shaped by history, public perception, and the institution's need for continuity. Now, as discussions over her future unfold, the broader implications for the royal family become impossible to ignore. Public expectations of the monarchy have changed, scrutiny has intensified, and the demand for transparency has grown louder. Royals can no longer rely solely on inheritance to justify their positions. Instead, they must prove their worth through service, engagement, and modernization. King Charles has long advocated for a leaner, more efficient monarchy. He has emphasized fewer working royals, a streamlined approach to public duties, and a focus on maintaining relevance in contemporary Britain. Camilla's role is now being examined through this lens. Unlike those born into royalty, Camilla entered the monarchy later in life, carrying a well-documented past. Her transition from Duchess of Cornwall to Queen Consort was carefully managed, but acceptance was never guaranteed. While her official title granted legitimacy, public perception has always been more complex. Despite years of dedicated service and philanthropy, she remains a divisive figure, seen by some as a committed royal, and by others as a reminder of past controversies. The monarchy's future depends on appealing to younger generations, who are more likely to question its relevance. They demand modernization and accountability, while older generations view it as an enduring pillar of national identity. This generational divide has shaped how Camilla is perceived, and more broadly, how the royal family must evolve. Within the palace, decisions about Camilla's future are not made in isolation. William and Catherine, as the Prince and Princess of Wales, are taking on greater responsibilities. Their increasing prominence signals a gradual shift in power. Any adjustments to Camilla's role must align with the monarchy's long-term strategy, ensuring stability while adapting to changing expectations. History has shown that the monarchy survives by reshaping traditions rather than abandoning them. The question now is whether modifying Camilla's role strengthens the institution or reveals deeper fractures. If her position is being adjusted, what comes next? Will she continue public duties or step into a more private existence? Will this be framed as a necessary modernization, or will it fuel speculation about unresolved tensions? The world is watching closely as the monarchy navigates this transition. Every decision will influence its future, determining whether it remains a relevant institution or one increasingly questioned by the public. Camilla's fate, once a subject of endless debate, is now part of a broader conversation about the monarchy's future. The choices made today will shape not only her legacy, but the direction of the royal family for years to come. The monarchy has always relied on carefully managed transitions to ensure stability while adapting to public expectations. Camilla's position has evolved, but recent developments suggest even the most structured roles are subject to change. As the institution moves forward, the focus remains on maintaining relevance while preserving tradition. King Charles has long advocated for a modernized monarchy, emphasizing efficiency and adaptability. William and Catherine's increasing responsibilities mark a generational shift, positioning them as central figures in the institution's future. While Camilla has fulfilled her duties with commitment, her role is now being examined through the lens of public perception and the monarchy's long-term strategy. The challenge lies in balancing tradition with the need for evolution. The royal family has survived by ensuring change is gradual rather than abrupt. Adjustments to Camilla's role must align with the monarchy's broader goals. If framed as a necessary modernization, they could strengthen the institution. However, if seen as a response to lingering controversy, they could invite further scrutiny. Public sentiment plays a crucial role in shaping the monarchy's future. The institution no longer operates in isolation. Its ability to maintain support depends on its response to changing expectations. How Camilla's role is adjusted will send a strong message about the monarchy's adaptability. As the royal family navigates this transition, its decisions will determine whether the institution emerges stronger or faces deeper challenges. Camilla's legacy will not be defined by past controversies, but by how this moment unfolds. The monarchy has always adapted to survive, and once again, it must prove that it can evolve while maintaining the stability it depends on. The next steps will shape not only Camilla's future, but also the monarchy's place in modern society. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.